Many may deny it's a problem, but the NBA has a sneaky, ugly side of winning.
Jackie, the rule changes were all about limiting tanking. Did they work?
I think you have to say they did.
Should NBA teams tank for Zion?
Yes.
Just losing a lot and hoping to get a prize at the end of it, like a toy in a cereal box, isn't going to do it.
All right, so tanking is part of the NBA. We all know this. It's easy to understand what the reasons are behind it.
But tanking is as real as those moon landing denials. Though it's condemned by the shot callers, fans, and higher-ups alike, teams like the Houston Astros, Philadelphia 76ers, and Cleveland Browns have all recently proved, intentional or not, tanking is an effective way to build a talented roster. Yes, the NBA has a dirty little secret. It's the fact that before you can acquire that loaded stable, you have to assemble the least skilled roster possible. And to do that, you need a team of scrubs, players that repeatedly find themselves on garbage teams and have to wonder if they are in the NBA because they are good, or to simply take up space. We found those players. The secret NBA tank squad is coming up right after this. Today we're exposing the NBA's all-tank team. Even though Adam Silver is trying to suck the lifeblood out of the mighty tank machine by firing off more ping pong balls than a frat boy coming home for the summer,
Dad, what is this Kmart shit? This table's got no bounce.
there's no doubting that it's way better to be in the cellar than in NBA purgatory. Ask the Pistons. In order to tank properly, you must assemble a motley crew of poorly tuned bricklayers that have the handles of a T-Rex and the defense of a "you must be 18 to enter this site" warning. These are the guys you call. Number 5, Chandler Parsons. When finding players to most effectively lose games, you want someone with the least production at the most unreasonable pay grade. As a tanking team, you're just trying to hit the salary floor, while contenders will give you draft picks in order to get the dead cap space off of their hands. Chandler Parsons is a prime example. The current Grizzlies forward had his best year in Houston in 2013, shooting 48% from the field and 38% from three, which earned him a $15 million per year deal with the Mavs. Parsons again excelled as a shooter, but things fell apart when he signed with the Grizzlies. Despite averaging $24 million per year, Parsons has missed 151 games over the last 3 years in Memphis and has averaged just 7 points a game when he is on the court. And guess what? That makes him a perfect tank commander. You don't have to worry about him getting hot from three and accidentally winning a couple of games because he's still nursing chronic knee soreness. Besides, Parsons is already an experienced tanker, helping the Grizz acquire Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant in the last 2 drafts. Get well, Chandler, just not too soon. There is tanking that needs to be done. Number 4, Solomon Hill. Sure, the Pelicans wouldn't have gotten Zion Williamson if Anthony Davis hadn't requested a trade and sat out for part of the season, but it takes more than that. It takes someone who shot 26% from the field and 19% from three in a season. We're talking about Solomon Hill. Hill built up his value during the first 3 years in the league as a pacer, where he proved, well, a good enough player to reach a second contract. But after Hill signed with the Pelicans, his weaknesses were magnified, averaging $12 million per year. The small forward out of Arizona went from 80 games played to 12 to 44 over his 3 years with the Pels, as his appearances on the court became rarer than a civil debate on Twitter.
I mean, it was a dumb play by me, for putting the team in that position. But I mean, he's a certified clown for the flop.
And now he's being dumped into the wasteland of an expiring contract. Perfect for any tanking team. Sit back and watch him average no more than 7 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists a game, all while making as much money as Chris Middleton and Eric Gordon. And if you're worried that he plays the same position as Chandler Parsons, who cares? You're trying to lose. Number 3, Jimmer Fredette. Is it fair to put the Shark Knight, the Mormon Megalodon himself, onto a tanking roster when he's lit up the CBA the last couple of years? Maybe you should ask the Phoenix Suns, who added Jimmer Fredette to their roster at the end of last year to ensure no one accidentally ruined their magical 19-win season. So what did the former BYU superstar do? He helped the Suns tank plow over the barbed wire of success by shooting 27% from the field and, most importantly, going 0 for 13 from behind the arc. Of course, the ping pong balls didn't go the Suns' way, but as proven by the fact that Klay Thompson was selected 1 pick after Jimmer in the 2011 draft, where you pick isn't the end-all be-all. What a whiff that was. Damn, son. Fredette wouldn't cost much to keep around on the roster, and even if he didn't come through on his major selling point in college and gets hot from three every once in a while, his lack of defensive ability would ensure smooth sailing on the way to a top 4 pick. Just make sure not to offer him a glass of champagne to celebrate, he'd politely turn it down. Number 2, Bismack Biyombo. Working with a 78-inch wingspan, power forward Bismack Biyombo has the ability to not only halt your team's shot at success, but swat it into the third row. The Congolese big man was drafted in 2011 and, as fate would have it, was traded that night for fellow tanker Jimmer Fredette. Unlike his countryman Serge Ibaka, Biyombo could never expand his game beyond rebounding and shot blocking, peaking at a career-high 6 points per game in 2017. If there is any doubt at all in Biyombo's ability to contribute to a losing culture, the long-limbed forward helped the Bobcats finish 7-59 in 2012 on their way to an all-time worst 106 quote-unquote winning percentage. And how did he make his presence felt on this record-breaking squad, you ask? Just by shooting 46% from the field and 48% on free throws. And as for his fit with the modern NBA with so many stretch 4s and 5s, well, he's never attempted a three-pointer. Hey, you've got company, Ben Simmons. But sure enough, despite an underwhelming career, the Orlando Magic handed Biyombo a 4-year, $72 million deal during the salary cap boom of 2016 that inflated the pay scale of many a mediocre player. Last season, after being traded back to Charlotte where it all began, Double B averaged fewer minutes per game than his annual salary in millions. Number 1. Hollis Thompson. Sometimes on the road to failure, you have to bend the rules a little bit. You have to bring in a ringer. And why not pull the GOAT out of retirement? And of course, by retirement, I mean the basketball Bundesliga, where the tank GOAT has been honing his skills. The Greek god of losing is none other than Hollis Thompson, a man who went 53 and 212 in his NBA career, which spans 6 seasons. That 200 winning percentage is still the losingest in NBA history. And most of the impressive losses were accrued as a pillar of the Philadelphia 76ers during the greatest tank ride in NBA history, aka the process. Without Thompson's leadership, the 76ers wouldn't have key pieces like Joel Embiid or Ben Simmons today. And sure, Thompson hit over 40% of his threes for the first 2 years of his career, but when it was time to step up with Ben Simmons declaring for the draft, Thompson dutifully answered the call and lowered his three-point percentage to 38 and skillfully throwing in a turnover and 2.5 personal fouls per game. Thompson is the embodiment of the tanking spirit, a great martyr who showed us the losing edge, whose sacrifices allowed the 76ers to achieve their true potential, losing in the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs and slowly watching this basket crush them like an aluminum can on a tough guy's forehead. But hey, it looks like the Kings might spare him from the Crailshy Merlins as they signed him to a summer league contract. Maybe he can step in, pour the gasoline, and light the match on what should be a beautiful tire fire of a season. Kings fans better hope he doesn't make the real squad. It's not hard to understand the reason behind tanking. Done correctly, it's a short-term sacrifice that allows for long-term prosperity. It's hard to get players to buy into a losing effort, and rightfully so, which makes it all the more important to find players who aren't losers per se, but are experienced at losing. Or just outright suck. The NBA's dirty little secret is safe with us. You can win through losing. Well, unless you're the Knicks. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was actually recommended to you instead of being buried by the algorithm like my last NBA video. Please leave a like, comment, or subscribe for more interesting takes on all sports. I'm 5 Points Vids, and you made it to the end of this video.